Hey guys, what's going on? It is Crosshair here, and today I'm bringing you the second part of our crosshair placement guide for Valorant. This time around we're getting into some more advanced concepts, and our focus is going to be on situations in which we are peeking the enemy. That means we are moving and opening up angles. There are two major techniques to master here. Pre-aiming for standard peaks and engaging duels, and then there is corner tracking to cover more and potentially uncertain off-angle ground. Let's take an in-depth look at both. Pre-aiming means placing your crosshair into the wall and then opening up the angle with a strafe to the side. The goal is to optimize your crosshair position before peeking and ideally landing right on the enemy's head as you strafe out of cover. This crosshair placement is great for peeking specific angles or engaging duels as dynamically as possible, making yourself hard to hit. When clearing common angles, your crosshair placement depends on the peek you have planned. If you want to default peek, just place your crosshair into the wall slightly. If you plan to jiggle, your crosshair is close to the edge of the wall. If you're wide swinging though, your crosshair needs to be placed deeper into the wall, otherwise you're going to be off due to the wide peak. Remember that you're using your movement keys to land on the enemy's head, and the aim adjustment needed with your mouse should be minimized. Now things are looking a little bit different when there is a high chance that the enemy will also peek into you and open up the angle himself. This could be because you both just saw each other, or because you're making noise approaching, or because you forced him out with utility. Whatever the reason, in these spots it is very important that you're not placing your crosshair at default position into the wall. Let's take a look at an example. I'm flanking Haven C long as a defender, and after contact with their jet I nade cubby, so I'm forcing a peek with my utility. However, I position my crosshair as I would for a default peek in a situation where someone would stand and just hold the angle on C long. Since their race is opening up the angle dynamically as well, I am totally off with my crosshair and have no chance to win the duel because I would first need to do a major flick onto her head. What I should have done instead is peek into the angle with my crosshair further away from the wall. That way the enemy race would peek into me and I'm ready for the shot. So remember that it's important not to pre-aim too deep if it is likely that the opponent will swing you as well. You can also do smaller peeks that cover less ground to minimize the distance you will have to correct with raw aim in case someone peeks you. My friend and also fellow creator here on the channel, Blubby, does a good job in this example in Lamps on Bind. He hears that the enemy sage is about to peek him, and therefore he places his crosshair in a way that positions it far away from the corner as soon as he peeks. Since their sage is peeking as well, he lands right on her head and gets the kill instantly. So always try to adjust depending on if you're peeking a stationary target, holding an angle, or if it's likely that you are going to be dynamically peaked. The second technique is called corner tracking and is used to cover uncertain ground. For example, when the enemy could be playing a so-called off angle. That's when he positions somewhat in open space where you wouldn't necessarily expect him. If you now go ahead and pre-aim the common angles, chances are you're going to peek into the enemy with your crosshair far away from his head. That's where corner tracking comes into play. For this technique, you are smoothly guiding your crosshair along the edge of the corner while you slowly walk around it. This way, if an enemy pops up out of nowhere, your crosshair will be in an almost ideal position to click head. Clearing off angles is not the only scenarios when you should use this crosshair placement. Sometimes you need to cover lots of ground quickly and can't pre-aim peek around every little corner, that would just take way too long, and also repositioning in clutch situations is another spot in which corner tracking is really useful, because you can constantly track the spot where you expect to have contact with the enemy most likely. In terms of mechanics, the ideal position for your crosshair is right on the edge of the wall or even slightly next to it. Many players make the mistake to track inside the wall, which once again leads to their crosshair being out of position when an enemy suddenly pops up on their screen. Remember, you're trying to shoot the enemy, not the wall. Also note that for this technique, angle advantage is a deciding factor on who has better chances at winning the duel. In short, always try to stay as far away as possible from the corner you are tracking while walking around it. This allows you to see the opponent earlier and therefore react faster. Make sure to check out our quick tip shorts video on that if you want to learn more about angle advantage. That's all I have for you guys on crosshair placement when peeking angles. In the final part of this series, we're going to talk about crosshair placement when holding angles. Make sure to check that out as well once the video is released. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like as this helps us out a ton. We just started this channel and are going to produce a ton of content to help you improve at Valorant. Make sure to subscribe if you don't want to miss out on that. I'll talk to you in the next video. See you then. Much love. Peace.